Hey guys, Matt here, Broken Supercoach, back again, checking in. Teams have just dropped. Had a quick look. I thought we'd quickly jump in and we'll take a look at um, what we're going to do, any big names, and then we'll go look at the final trade that I'm going to make, just so you guys can sort of, if you're playing along, make a similar trade. Or I probably won't do a trade tonight though, because I won't need one. Um, we're only doing this games tonight. All the rest is locked out, but I'll show you what I'll probably do. So tonight's game, not a lot. I think some people might have been on Sheldrick. You're probably pretty annoyed when it was a sub last week, but not really a lot to go through here. English still named rack one. Martin, I'm not sure what the news on Martin is, but he still seems to be out. So, um, still scoring points like that. That's nice. Stevens, yep, still got him. If you don't have him, get him, and you need to get him before now. Before this game starts, because he's arguably the best rookie or second best low pricer that you can get. What else we got? McCartan named down back. We love to see that. There's probably not much else. Jake Lloyd named on the halfback. We're happy with that as well. For down the line. And these are just troll. McRae on the wing, unlikely. But we'll see. What do we have here? No changes for Melbourne. That's good because you got Jake Bowie there. So he's one that a lot of people are going to get on, who I'm going to get on as well, purely for money. But yeah, I'm going to get on him. Got Ridley named first bench, which is a bit scary, but that's okay. I'm still concerned about Ridley. Lots of concerns about Ridley, but he scored 100, so we'll take that. And maybe, I don't know, maybe with a couple of these changes, it's not too bad. That's Aaron Francis goes out, Devon Smith goes out. Maybe they go back to their old style. They get Phillips and Shield in. They might go back to using Ridley a bit more. We'll see. Really going to watch him. It'll be too late now. I won't trade him, so I just have to stick with him now. But it's one to keep your eye on, but he's going to lose too much money if he drops a really bad score. So I'm hoping he just continues along his way and finds form. Melbourne, not a lot here to talk about. Unchanged, they'd be pretty happy with that. There's no real concerns. Again, Gorn named at R1, but only taking about 50% of the ruck. A lot of people trading Gorn if they own him this week, and I wouldn't be against it. The only thing I think it's weird is that trading Gorn to Wits to use the money now, and then because most Wits owners, we spoke about this, most Wits owners are going back, or are probably going to go back to Gorn later. So you're essentially using two trades to bank the money now, which is not bad. Like, I'm not against it, especially if you're going to use the money on some things we didn't expect, like Crips, like just Crips, really. So if you can turn one of your mid prices into Crips now by turning Gorn into Wits, and that's probably okay. The issue is that you're going to need to use another trade. And Crips is probably worth two trades, technically, two long run trades. So not against trading him out. Not a huge amount of relevance here. We got Saligo out. Hopefully not named as the sub, so we can loop him. It'd be very unlikely if he'd be named as the sub. I think Haitley is going to get the sub this week. Saligo has now played an AFL game where he wasn't great and a sub where he got to play a little bit. So it's two AFL games he's participated in now. I don't know if there's any practice matches or any trials, but I think they'll probably try to avoid naming him as the sub this week if he can play in an SANFL game or a trial game somewhere. Haitley is probably the sub who played quite well in the sample. Pretty big stuff here. Sin out, and he looked pretty. He didn't look ready, did he? I mean, Port looked junk, so it's hard to say, but he just didn't look ready. So we'll keep an eye on him for later. We've still got Skinner now on the second, but you'll want to see more than 30 from him to bother including him the week after. I just can't think of who we trade him out for next week. There's no one going up high enough to drop down to Skinner so early. So it's probably handy that Sin goes. Dersma out, Finlayson out. I don't think these are hugely relevant. Another must-have, of course, is Butters. if you have all the rookies and you're looking to try to get someone, and perhaps you already own Cripps, then Butters is the next one. He's the guy you've got to get, basically. If he's not F1, he's F2, and he's only going up in price. I think, anyway. We'll check his price. Crows, Laird back in, but Laird is mid only, formerly the Supercoach hero, being defense. He's mid this year. What it does mean is for those that are trading in guys like Keys, where's Keys sitting at the moment? Still got our boy Hinge here. Quick scan the line because he's usually named in. Oh, he's named right there as first follower. So, yeah, someone like Keys might lose a bit of points for people who are doing that. Dawson again named on the wing. I still think he's one to watch. He'll come down in price. Rochelle, they've still gone with Hillenberg, so not a huge amount here to talk about. Again, our boy Hinge, like I said with Saligo, hopefully he doesn't get named as a sub, and we don't have to trade him, but he is on the trade. You do have to trade him eventually, but he is on the list. Another one to notice is Sam Hayes in emergency. He was a handy option, I think, out of ruck, but probably not relevant now. Suns, Gold Coast, not massive relevance there. Lockie Weller in is interesting. What does that do to other scorers? Unsure if it really affects everyone's favourite in Touk Miller and Matt Rao, who are both named in their normal spots. Don't think there's anyone else relevant we need to look at there. Yeah, we're feeling pretty good about those guys. Even though Rao scored a little bit lower, he's still shown us what he can do. GWS, few out. So Bruce looks like he's finally going to take his ruck spot back from Flynn. Flynn, obviously, I guess he got the chance in round one, looked decent, and probably would have been stiff to get dropped, so they've brought him in this time. You think Bruce holds that spot. The danger was always going to be with Bruce if you're a Bruce owner, and if you're thinking about going down to Bruce, which would be ridiculous. GWS do seem like, based on their matchups, will go Bruce Flynn. So they might want to go, Witts is more of an established ruck. They might want to go Bruce against him, and then they might run Bruce for a couple of weeks, and they might come up against, say, Geelong, who don't have really a massive established ruck. They might go back to Flynn for someone who can run around the ground. So keep that in mind. Not a huge concern, though, because I don't think many people have Bruce. We got Collingwood here, Collingwood and Geelong. So Sam DeConning back in, which we all thought would happen. Really happy with that. In he comes. Where's he named? Looks like he's named. Yeah, right in the back as well. So that's handy. Do keep that in mind because that means you can't loop him. But very nice that he's come back in. And he deserved his spot. He looked good in the preseason. Decent in round one until he got a concussion. So that's a good sign for DeConning and for owners too, because he has shown now that that's faith in him to drop someone like Zach Guthrie or Dalhouse to get him back in is really nice faith shown to him. So owners will be pleased there. It means that he'll at least get a period of time to increase in price. Mana McInnes, nothing really massively relevant here. I think McCreary had a good break even for a low price, but anyone who was trading him was trolling, you'd think. Lipinski named there. I know a lot of people have liked that. I hate that pick. What else we got? That's about it. No real... Crisp named on the halfback. We're obviously going to soldier on with him. This is what we like to see, actually. We like to see Crisp named at halfback because that's where he's good at footy. So Adams, you got Lipinski, you got Pendlebury, Hoskin Elliott, Nick Dacos. So hopefully he gets less time through the middle and he can keep playing this halfback role. And then that's a winning pick. So on to, are we still on Saturday games? Yeah, Saturday games. So we're still getting full teams still. Not a huge amount of relevance here. The only thing I'd say is if you don't have Lachie Neale in your team, you need to immediately find a way to get him into your team. Looks amazing. Perhaps through Berry, who doesn't look that great. Not a terrible pick. I think he's got some upside, named on the wing. I think it's a pretty average North Melbourne team. And Jaden Stevenson comes back. Nothing really relevant here either. If you started Taron Thomas, that's unfortunate for you. Trade out, obviously. gone for too long. Get Zeri in if you don't have him. Most do. I don't, but I will after this, especially when you see who's out for Carlton. That only confirms it. Yeah, not a huge amount named here. Aaron Hall again looks good. Going to go up in price. Just can't afford to get him without trading a premium. And I know I said I'd like to do it, but just don't think I will. Chera's back. Now these are Sunday games, so it's extended benches. The only one we know is that Chera will definitely play in this. Not a huge amount else. Sam Walsh named right on the ball there. That's great. George Hewitt, there we go. Cripps in the middle. You'll love to see it. Mitch McGovern out, so that basically confirms if you have Mitch McGovern, you've got to go somewhere else. Oh, do you go to Brody? Yeah, probably. Do you go to Cherry if you don't have him? Yep. I'm not sure what other options if you've got all three that you can go to. You're surely missing someone of Hayes. You could go to Nick Martin early from Essendon. There's a lot of choices there for McGovern. We wouldn't have all of those players. Hawthorne, not a lot there. Tom Phillips looks like he's cashed out. Sam Mitchell, I don't think likes him, so doesn't look like he likes him anyway. Sicily named in the back, but in the middle there, so in the centre half-back position. So Ward on the wing, that's nice. Conor McDonald, that's nice for Ward owners. Sadly, I'm gonna have to let him go in order to make the move I want to make, which sucks because I think there's a lot of money in him. But to get Patrick Cripps in this team, which I think you just have to do, you can't ignore it. I'm gonna lose Ward. So unlucky. I don't think he's as good as everyone thought he was going to be. But I prefer to have him. Conor McDonald named on the halfback. Love to see it. Yeah, and lastly, we've got. Doesn't look like they've made a huge amount of changes. Keeping in mind that the West Coast Fremantle game is not getting named till Saturday, so no one's going to know. They actually don't have to even put teams in. So that's the verdict there. No one's going to know what's in that team. So if you're relying on those West Coast rookies, probably don't be. And I wouldn't be. It's way too risky. Try not to have them on field. If you try not to bring them in, it's too dangerous. They're making 14 changes a week, West Coast. It's too much. Fremantle, if you started with Brody, great. I'd be worried about doing McGovern to Brody. If that's the only choice you've got, then you kind of have to wait till... Because when's Essendon playing? You kind of had to wait till Sunday to make sure Brody's named because Essendon are playing Friday night. So I guess Nick Martin is in. But we won't have the... Yeah. Hard to say. If you have Martin, then sure, McGovern and Martin, straight right there. If you don't have Martin, sorry. If you do and you're waiting on Brody, then you don't want to do McGovern or Brody, and Brody is randomly out. You'd hate that. But I think a lot of Brody owners will be scrambling if that happens. And I don't think he will be out. There's no reason for him to be out. I don't know why I'm making up this imaginary scenario. Is that a third game for Wanganeen Miller? I think it is. Sub-risk was too much. Don't think you can get him. Oh, no, it's not for Supercoach because he didn't play. So that's his second game now. So eyes on him for next week. We might want to go early on him. We might want to go grab him if there's someone we can bring down early. Still no Ryder. That's great for us Hayes owners. Hayes play. I mean, Hayes has to play, honestly. They're trolling if they're... Naming him on the bench is so disrespectful. They're absolutely trolling if he doesn't play. Had quite a game last week, but so what? He's going to have that. I don't think there's much else to worry about here. Steele named. It's been quiet. I see a lot of people trading him out. And same story. If the only way you can get to Cripps is to trade Steele down, and you've got all the important rookies, I don't mind that either. Because Cripps will become the price of Steele within probably 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And Steele might well, if he keeps shopping hundreds and low hundreds, which I don't think will happen, he will bleed money, though. I don't mind it. It does mean, though, that it's a correctional trade, yes, but you will save 200k by getting Cripps in, and that's going to be the point of this video. Richmond, nothing really relevant to name here. Just want to see our boy Gibcus named on field, so you'll love to see it. There he is, third game. There's our boy. do we really care about Gibcus on field score? Nope. As long as he's getting a few games in. Parker, this will be his second game, and he turned up really nicely, I think, last game. I think he's quite cheap, if I remember rightly, so we'll keep an eye on him too. That's it. So what does that mean as far as trades go? Obviously going to use the boost. With Soligo not named, I'm going to loop in... This is really dangerous, by the way. I'm going to loop in Stevens' score, perhaps, so I can play him against, which will eventually be Dacos. Dacos playing on Saturday. So that's really risky, but we'll know if Soligo's the sub within the right amount of time, so we can just flick him out. So, yeah, I know it's risky because he's named on the extended bench, but I just don't think he's the sub, and I'll be able to do it. I'll be able to just play Dacos straight ahead against him. I know that's so risky, but whatever. That's what we're going to do. I don't think Soligo plays, but don't take my word on that. I'm just going by gut instinct. There's every chance he's named the sub again. It's actually so risky that I'm thinking of not doing it. I know that I said that I want to, but yeah, it's too risky. All right, I've changed my mind. I know that I just went and did a big thing there. That's too risky for me. So ignore that. I am going to put Stevens on field just because I think that's too much that's a worry. And I want Stevens on field. I think he's a very nice scorer, probably the best of all the rookies scoring. Hingy, love it. McCartan, love it. This is how the field setup's going to be here. These 6, we're trading Whitfield. So I'll probably name McDonald as our emergency here. Dixon, I assume, will come back in. I think his COVID protocol ends on Saturday, so he should be fit to play Sunday. So handy emergency there. Yeah, I'm worried that he's named on the extended bench, but I think he gets named. We'll keep an eye on that. Though I do want Rochelling in here because I think he's a big game player. It was only 10 points last time, but realistically, big game player like this, I know that Martin's probably the one that everyone wants to go. I think a big game player in the showdown against an extremely poor Port defense, I just think he's primed for another big game at home in front of the home crowd. I just think he's built different, Rochelle. So he's probably the one. And Martin, we've only seen one game. He's not going to kick 5 goals against Melbourne. Let's make that really clear. There is no chance he kicks 5 goals against Melbourne. So we're going to see a normal score from him too. I think it's roulette with these 3, if I'm being real. Trades, easy. Whitfield goes. McGovern goes. And then Ward goes. And here's how we do it. Well, we get Paddy Cripps in. We get... now, I'm not going to confirm on this just because I want to... I'll do it, and then I'll just reverse it. Cherry comes in, obviously. Best break even in the forward for McGovern. He'll get ruck status. Yeah, I missed him. And I knew that I was going to miss him. It's no big deal. I was concerned about the Callum Coleman-Jones job security. I thought McGovern would have a better upside, and maybe he does, but McGovern's clearly carrying an injury as he is out now. So, sucks to lose McGovern, but he has to go. And short to get Hewitt, which is the one I would probably like to get here. But we'll get Bowie, who... now, this looks like point chasing because he scored 150. I really think that Bowie is a 70 to 80. 70 to 80 type player, which is really nice for the money. And he's going to shoot up. He's going to make you 150k in no time. Maybe in enough time for us to go down to one of those new defenders coming in soon. There's Bowie. So that's the trade. I'll have 54k left. We'll just hit confirm on that just to show it for the boys. We'll throw Cripps on field, probably for Dacos, in fairness. Which is why I would have liked... reason is that they play in Geelong, and I think Geelong will be bouncing back, and I don't think they're going to allow many Collingwood players to get off the chain, even though Collingwood look nice. I would have liked to be able to loop Soligo versus, Stevens versus Dacos through Soligo, but it's too risky, and if Stevens drops a score that I want, he's the one I'm more confident in, and I don't want to loop McDonald versus Dacos because I don't want McDonald on field, so I just think I just kind of have to sit with those on the field. So they're the ones. I finally get Cripps on field. I love that. Now, how will I loop? I'll have McRae as vice. Another thing I'll be watching is if Soligo is not named, then I will put him on through, say, Horn Francis. And I'll and I'll loop him that way, and I'll just hope that Horn Francis is better than Dacos. So yeah, there's a lot of movements here, but I think realistically, just have to accept that I've got everyone named, and I'm not going to be able to loop, and I'm just going to slap the C on Neil against North. And again, that looks like point chasing, but if you look at his history against North Melbourne, he scored 156, 134, 140. So you can expect decent numbers against North Melbourne. And yes, North Melbourne were terrible in those years. They're also terrible now. They could only manage a 3-goal win against a team full of blokes off the street. So don't be fooled by North. I think Neil will still be a fine captain. The reason I won't go Touk Miller is just the tag, GWS tag. I think that's dangerous to name him against. I don't know how he handles a tag. I haven't watched enough Touk Miller. Maybe he handles a tag, no issue. I don't want to think about it. So Neil as captain, McRae as vice. Hopefully, if he pops off, there's a way to get Saligo in. Like I said, sub-risk is too much. So anyway, guys, thanks for that. Let us know what your trades are going to do. I'm going to quickly undo those changes because, as I said, you shouldn't do your trades until you absolutely have to do them. And with me trading out a Carlton player, a GWS player, for the last minute stuff that might go wrong, and a North player, I actually don't need to make this trade until tomorrow tomorrow afternoon before the game. I'll be at the showdown, so I'll do it during the day tomorrow. Bowie's my earliest player, so what I'll probably just do is Whitfield down to Bowie first, wait, then perhaps Saturday morning, I'll do myself McGovern, Cripps, I'll do the other one. So, yeah, I know that seems weird, but that's how you should do your trades. You should not be doing it, because the last thing you want, we don't have a Fremantle team yet. So the last thing we want is for Brody to be named out, and then I've got to do something else. So just keep that in mind as I drop my phone on the ground. Just keep that in mind. I mean, I'm probably committed to that regardless, and if Brody is randomly out for some reason, we've got Martin named as emergency. It's not the end of the world. We'll have Hayes as well that we can put on field if Martin hasn't put a good score on. We could even slap the C on Brody if McRae's done well. So they're the scenarios if you're going to lose a Freo player. Perhaps you own Brayshaw. Perhaps you want to get Brayshaw in. Keep that, which you probably could. They're the things you want to do. Just do it at the last minute. You want to see that Freo team named first before you start making all these other trades. So, cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. And we will chat again Sunday night, I reckon.